5 months in, and my guy Fonzo already hated what he saw. The parts were too wide, the locks were too chunky and uneven, and let me tell you about the scalp, covered in a thick, flaky, waxy layer of buildup, looking like his roots were suffocating under it. He thought there was no way to fix it, so he came to me back in 2021 so I could cut it all off. A lot of you might be thinking, damn, Fonz, you are tripping. You're talking mad junk about these locks. You shouldn't be doing that. Look, let me keep it a buck with you. From the outside looking in, Fonzo starter locks looked like they had a lot of potential. Although I will say that the sections were a little bit too big, and when it would have came down to styling, it would have kind of limited him a little bit, just a little bit. Also, I would like to add, nobody starter locks in the beginning, well, with the exception of maybe Eddie Murphy when he did Dr. Dolittle too. He had that like nice, like slick back look. Those could have turned to locks, but that's Eddie, and this is Fonzo. So let's focus on Fonzo. Beneath the surface, it's what I'm really talking about. And this is the painful outcome of not doing things correctly, of not having a proper foundation to having dreadlocks. Because come on guys, dreadlocks this is a long journey. This is a lifestyle. This is not supposed to be to where you are missing out on experiences like swimming and freaking washing your hair all the time and being in the sun and sweating your ass off because you're having a great freaking time with your family, with your loved ones. You out here just being stiff, trying to look cool. No, that's not the point. And I'm not saying that was Fonzo's situation. If anything, Fonzo did it all, but he still was trying to go and follow that regimen, the loctician that probably created this for him. And I kind of even want to take it easy on the loctician, because in most cases, the loctician is just going with what they were taught. Everybody's being taught the same thing, and the craziest thing is they don't even teach this in school. This is something that's like brought down for generations. Like this is something you figure out through somebody in the neighborhood, or you know, you go shadow somebody in a salon. But it's just frustrating, man. It's frustrating because this right here is not a good look. I could be frustrated because I do dreadlocks now as a service, and let me tell you, I will tell every single one of my clients, wash your damn hair. Wash your damn hair minimum once a week, okay? And if you out here sweating your ass off, you playing ball, you doing all these things, you working out, playing tennis, swimming in the pool, whatever it is, man. Whatever, you climbing hills. No, you climbing mountains. You're climbing mountains. You're out here swimming with sharks. All that. Wash your hair or rinse it, but wash your hair, bro. Don't miss on that experience. Shit! Why would you want to miss on that? Why would you want to miss on that? I want you to do it all. Somebody tells you not to wash your hair? Hell no. You better go somewhere else, get your locks done, because this is a cautionary tale, man. This is a cautionary tale. Fonzo, I wish you would have kept your locks, bro. I wish you would have kept your locks. I wish I would have known then what I know now, bro. So you wouldn't have had to go through this. Now, a lot of you are gonna enjoy this portion of the video. It's gonna be nice and soothing, but I'm also gonna just give you the harsh reality of this part. The harsh reality is that, for one, Fonzo is just gonna get shampooed. There's nothing else. We're not known, well, back then, we were not known for shampooing. I shampoo the hell out of my clients now. At least the ones that I do lock services on or come in with a lot of buildup, y'all gonna get this shampoo. Y'all gonna get this clarifying shampoo, this hydrating shampoo, sulfate free. Y'all gonna get this conditioner, the scalp treatment, lo que sea. Y'all gonna get that. And that took a lot of time, a lot of training, and I just had to be on my mode. It's almost like Kanye when he made Dark Twisted Fantasy. He went to Hawaii, put a suit on. Everybody in the studio had to put a suit on. That was me, minus the suit, minus Hawaii. But imagine that for a moment, Fonzo, you're in Hawaii. You're getting your hair washed. It's nice, breezy. Tú sabes, se siente bien afuera. Pero it's only one type of shampoo in this Hawaii. One type. It's generic. It's not even sulfate free. That's the type of shampoo I'm using on Alphonso right now. I honestly, Fonz wanted to leave dipping. He wanted to have some sort of wave, but there was just no way I was going to do that. And I had to tell him the harsh truth. Like, bro, you're not going to be dipping. You're not going to have not even a ripple. There's just no way this is going to happen because of the simple fact that there's so much unevenness from the grid. You got to now pay the price. After the hooded dryer, this is what I had left. It is very uneven. I was very concerned about the lineup just because around the lineup, the skin was very dry. But the most important part right now is evening everything out. Another thing I did not mention is that around the temple area where I would generally taper, that area has the lowest density. I mean, even for the sideburn, generally you'll see some sideburn when the hair is completely grown out. He has no sideburn, which is very concerning, man. But we got to move forward. So I grab my comb. I start combing that area out. I had a wild thought like, okay, maybe I can still keep it as dark as possible. So I grabbed my 1.5 guard and I started going against the grain. Typically, I always start with the guard open, but I just went ahead and closed that thing. Started going against the grain because, again, there are so many light spots all over the place. So it's looking like a checkerboard out here, and I don't really want to keep that unevenness. And that unevenness comes from the simple fact, ¿verdad?, that there were sections. The grid creates those sections. And if you go so long with having your hair in that grid, so if, for example, let's say it wasn't dreadlocks and it was just, 2-strand twists, and he would have had the 2-strand twist for like 2 to 3 weeks, you would still see a little bit of a grid, but it would not be that harsh of a line. But once you go months on end to years, you're gonna see a harsh line or harsh lines everywhere. And at that point, I don't recommend cutting it too low. And that's why I mentioned that I would have done it differently, knowing what I know now. You got to give the hair space. You got to give it time to kind of go back to where it naturally wants to lay. And it's kind of hard to get it to that point on the same day that you cut it. You're gonna have to do a cut that isn't as low as I'm taking it right now. And look, even now, I switched my 1.5 to 1 because it still didn't feel like it was even enough for me. And at that point, I still wasn't happy with the way it was looking. And I even chose to say, bump it, man. I'm gonna go for a fade. And as you can see, I'm starting to bring that line up higher and higher as I'm just looking at my canvas. He has so many dry spots. My heart goes out to anybody that has to deal with this, whether it be on their scalp, whether they just deal with extremely dry skin on their body. Like it's tough, man. And when you're dealing with this, guys, give yourself grace and don't think that this is forever. As you already saw, I went ahead and laid the hair down with a little bit of mousse. I'm not too particular right now. All I gotta say is if you're gonna use mousse, make sure it's not anything beyond a soft hold. I'm not a fan of anything more than a soft hold because you're gonna run into issues where the lineup is not gonna come out crispy. If you use a hard hold mousse and you dry it, there's gonna be a thick film around the edge line and it makes it difficult for you to get a nice crispy lineup. Thankfully, this wasn't that, but I have used other products and I'll get into it in other videos on what products I feel make the most sense for services like this and other things too. But yeah, don't use anything that's too thick because at that point you're gonna have to come back with a little bit of like aftershave, for example, wipe that area with the aftershave, obviously spray the aftershave on the next strip and then wipe, and then come back with some como se dice, hairspray. And you know what to do after the hairspray. The game's been out for a while. This is no secret. I will say though, I did struggle with the lineup, and I knew that I wasn't even going to be able to use a razor because the lineup area was just so damaged. It was so dry. You could even see the differences in tones on the back of his head. It doesn't even matter that I cut his hair low and that, you know, I washed it and everything. The damage that not washing his hair and that the buildup did to him, wow, it was just a lot, man. Back in the day, I remembered making this video and I thought to myself, I don't even think I could post this, you know, because I wasn't even happy personally with how short I had to cut it. I know Fonzo was just happy to be there. He knew I was gonna lace him up either way, and he said he was happy with it. He really meant it. And we stayed in contact for a little bit, but you know, I gave him some recommendations on what shampoos and everything he should use. But overall, man, I just wasn't happy with the fact that this was what he had to experience for those 5.5 months. And the lineup was so difficult for me, not because it was a, you know, difficult lineup due to receding points or anything like that. I was so confused. I think this was the first time I ever came across someone that had such dry skin around the lineup. I know a lot of you are going to feel me. A lot of you that cut hair are going to feel me. There are points where you're going to think to yourself like, damn, okay, the lineup's going to come out nice and crispy because of the, you know, the ash line. But nah, man, I don't even care about that ash line, bro. I just want you to have a nice crispy lineup. You know, I can lace you up with some enhancement and everything, you know, and this is no shots of people that like that ash line. I just don't care for it, especially if it's because the person has dry skin. You know, if you're using the enhancement pencil and everything, that's cool. You know, I've done it too. But if the person has dry skin and you out here thinking to yourself, man, shit, this is gonna be this the one right here. Nah, man, I don't want you to be ashy. I want you to be hydrated, bro. I want you to be hydrated, my guy. You can already see how different he looks and everything, and that's cool, man. But I would have wished he would have kept his hair. I really do. I wasn't even able to use a razor on the lineup just because I didn't want to run the risk of cutting him. You know, he had to face the truth, the simple truth that he wasn't gonna leave dipping, but at least he was gonna leave with a nice crispy lineup. I went ahead and tried my best to kind of clean up around the crown area. And bada bing, bada boom. That's what I could do back then, 3 years ago. But I will say this, like I already said before, if you see Fonzo, tell that man to hit my lineup because, Fonzo, listen, I want to cut you up for free, my guy. Let me know. And hopefully you got some longer hair because I will run it back and do these new dreadlocks for you for free. And besides, Fonzo, if you know anybody or you yourself have grown your hair, you don't know what to do with it, and you're looking wild, click on that link below because I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to lace you up for free. Dale.